Bucky's gone. Jordan James. Now, talking about the numbers here, 7.1 yards per carry. That's tough to do, especially with that many carries. And he matched Irving with 11 touchdowns.
I don't know. It's first of all, love Jordan James, and I think Oregon's running backs are outstanding again for a, I don't know, 19th year in a row that I've been watching Oregon football. I mean, Oregon has just been, not always putting the guys in the pros that have big careers, right? Like Jonathan Stewart's been a bit of an outlier there. Certainly, Royce Freeman is still bouncing around the league and whatnot, but in college, Oregon's running backs have just been good over and over and over and over again. It has been a huge, huge part of the program's success over the last 2 decades. And, Jordan James can be the next great back. And I think he reminds me a lot of, little bit better version perhaps of CJ Verdell, who was a very effective runner for the Ducks. He's downhill, kind of one cut sort of guy, very physical, hard to stiff up at the line of scrimmage and drive backwards because he's always falling forward. But, PFF actually had him graded higher than Bucky Irving last year, and you can see the numbers. The efficiency was even better, and Bucky is someone who has a unique running style with the way that he'll put his foot in the ground, and he's got great lateral movement and just a really hard guy to tackle. James is physical, and there were times last year, not all the time, but there were times where the Pac-12 championship game, for instance, where it felt like Jordan James should have been the number one back instead of Bucky Irving because Bucky was bottled up and James was making plays here and there. So it could be James, but I just would not sleep on Noah Whittington. He didn't play a ton last year because he got injured against Colorado in week 4. But, Jordan James was the same guy who we all saw last year, and the coaches saw him all through spring camp and fall camp. And yet coming into the year, they had Whittington ahead of him on the depth chart, because Whittington was the number 2 back the prior year. And if Whittington, who's coming off an injury, is fully healthy, I could absolutely see him being the number 1 back. But I could see it being Jordan James. I think in all likelihood, this is a 2-headed monster, and it's a really, really good one.
And Spencer, of course, people are excited about Jay Harris and what he could possibly bring as well.
Yeah, comes over from Northwest Missouri State where he was a D2 All-American. Big guy. 6'1", 215 pounds. I don't think he's going to kill anybody with his speed necessarily, though certainly he's got enough to, bust some big runs. But there isn't a lot of tape out there on him because he's coming from Division II Northwest Missouri State. But, someone who runs with a lot of balance, kind of gives you Najee Harris vibes. And I think he could be a short yardage back for the Ducks. And they have had one traditionally each of the last 2 seasons with Dan Lanning at the helm. And so I wonder if that isn't the role that he serves that might have been, former freshman Dante Dowdell's before he transferred to Nebraska this offseason to go be in the backfield with Dylan Raiola, which is a place where I think Dowdell could certainly thrive. But, I think for Harris, he has the potential, he at least has the physical traits to be that short yardage specialist. And in 2022, it was Jordan James. And I think in 2023, it was going to kind of be Jordan James again until Whittington got hurt. And now everyone's seen what Jordan James can do, and he's going to have a feature role. And Whittington is certainly, a feature role back as well, who's probably the best pass catcher of this group of backs. So I'm curious to see if Harris carves out a role for himself. I won't be overly shocked, though, if it's on the minimal side.